Okay, I think if somebody will join later, so we just we can start. Yeah. So good morning, everyone. My name is Judita Grublienia. I am parent representative at the Family Voice Peterborough charity organization that support families with kids with special educational needs and disabilities. I will be sharing this meeting today on a topic cancer support and personalized care. Before starting the meeting, I would like just to remind everyone, please complete the feedback form to us after the meeting, because your feedback is very important for getting funding and helping families with CND and organizing sessions like this. So please don't forget to do that after the meeting. So let's start our today's meeting session, and let me introduce our first speaker, Sarah Macmillan Engagement Lead, Norfolk and Suffolk. Sarah will be talking about the cancer support. Sarah, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much. I've attended a few of the meetings before just as an observer, and it's really great to have an opportunity to share the support that we have for anyone affected by cancer, and also to hear any thoughts people have on what else would be useful. I just wanted to introduce as well my new colleague, Menashe, who's just started at Macmillan and is doing the same job as me, and her area will now be Beds, Herts and Cambridgeshire. So I thought, so she's able to come along this morning and meet you all, which is great, but, feel free to email either of us. We'll make sure our emails are both in the chat at the end of this, and we can make sure that, we can direct you to other resources as and when. Any questions are fine. I've got a little presentation, so I will try and share my screen and go with that. It includes a few little clips, so somebody start yelling if they don't kind of play with sound, but I'm hoping we've got all this. Share sound, that's the box that you always have to tick, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Is it possible to see the slide now?
Yes.
Fantastic. Apologies for not going to full screen. I tried that and the YouTube clips got overexcited and started scrolling up loads of extra YouTube clips after them. So I've had to stick it in a box here. I work for Macmillan Cancer Support, and one of the things that I try and do is make lots of groups and organisations and individuals in communities really aware that we've got a lot of direct support for people affected by cancer that anybody can access through a whole range of means. And today I'm going to focus particularly on the direct things we offer that are available to anybody. And we also obviously have services and things at local hospital trusts, so I will mention those resources as well at Peterborough Hospital, but the main focus of this is on what Macmillan directly provides. So starting off, just a little clip here about Macmillan, in case it's an organisation that some people may not know very much about.
Macmillan wants to help everyone with cancer.
Live life as fully as they can.
Whatever you're going through.
Whoever you are.
We help with money worries.
And rights at work.
Offer expert information.
Support in hospital.
And at home.
Day and night. Good boy.
Offering physical, financial and emotional support.
They know I'm a person, not just a patient.
So sneaky.
I'm Dylan's mum.
I'm a dad.
A colleague.
A neighbour.
A friend.
Right now in the UK,
There are over 2.5 million people living with cancer.
And that number grows every year.
Gallwn helpu I bod yna I fwy o bobl sy'n byw gyda cancer.
By fundraising,
volunteering
and campaigning.
So whatever cancer throws your way,
they're right there with you.
So as the video mentioned, there's a real changing story with cancer. So there's a combination of things. We've got some really good new treatments and screening programs that mean that people are often finding that they're unwell with cancer much earlier than they would previously been able to find out. This means that we've got lots more treatment options where people can become very well. It also means that even for people where sadly their cancer is treatable but it's not curable, they can have often a lot more time now to live well with their cancer. And we have an increasing older population, and cancer is often linked to older age. As our body's cells change as we age, it increases the incidence of cancer. So we're just aware that as a moment we feel that, at the moment we feel very much that, all the support around cancer needs to be for that individual, for that person, but at the same time, it's going to affect all of our communities, because half of us will have a cancer diagnosis in our lifetime, and the other half will be their family, their friends, their neighbours, and their community around them. And so the real drive for Macmillan is to be there for each individual, but in a way that kind of supports all of the community, as we're all affected by this. There's often a lot more people surviving into older age as well, with many other health conditions that were previously perhaps much harder to treat. And that means that we know as well that for some older people, there might be cancer, but there also might be other complicated treatments they need around diabetes or heart problems or stroke. So we're very aware that this is not a simple thing for many people, and that the medical side can be really complex. And our attempt at Macmillan is just to provide all the support that people with cancer tell us will be useful to them as they navigate their way through treatment and living with and beyond cancer as well. We've got three main ways of working. We work directly, so I'm going to talk about that mostly for the rest of today. So our phone line, our website, the booklets we provide. We also work in partnership. So we often fund posts for Macmillan nurses or other posts, information managers in hospitals. And this allows an NHS trust quite often to increase the staff they have. And we often fund things for a couple of years that allow the trust to build up their business case. It shows that they need that post. It shows that new cancer nurse is seeing loads of patients. And at the end of that time, the CCG will pick up the funding, and that post will become a business as normal post at the hospital, which allows Macmillan to continue to support that member of staff with training and with resources and with grants for education, so they can continue to develop their career, but equally allows us to move on and fund another post that the trust wants to fund, and again to develop the business case or to do specific projects that help to move services around. And we also work with advocacy. We are a large cancer charity nationally, but we are tiny compared to what the NHS spends on cancer every year. And we're really aware, apologies, we're really aware that a lot of the issues that people with cancer tell us about are not things that Macmillan can sort alone. So we know, for example, there are often real difficulties for people in rural areas about travel and about getting to hospital appointments and about bus routes being closed down. And these are issues that we often look to campaign on with people and with other health charities nationally. When there were delays with PIP payments, that's something again that we've been campaigning on with MPs and with government to flag up the impact of that for people with cancer. So we recognise that we can do some things ourselves, we do some things in partnership with hospital trusts and community organisations, and we also do some things by campaigning and raising our voice to say more needs to be done on this issue. This is how it affects people with cancer. So I'm going to talk a little bit more. There's a little clip here about some of our direct services and how they can make a difference if people phone us. We are aware that we're probably not as accessible as, as we're always open to new ideas about how to be more accessible. We do have web chat, we do have BSL translations as well. We have an interpreter service on our support line if people wish to speak to us in a different language. We do also have web chat and email. So there are a number of ways of getting in touch. So when it talks about the support line or the phone line, there are also ways to do that through other systems if that's more useful for people.
On your own, it is a lot to take in. You think, gosh, he's told me that I have got cancer. My world's just collapsed in front of me in that 2 minutes.
The callers are trying to be strong for their family members, and the family members are trying to be strong for their relative who has cancer. Someone like Ravinda, it was important to know that she had the support line there so that she could talk through her feelings where she didn't want to worry her family. On the Macmillan support line, anyone can call us. So we may have the cancer patients, quite often we'll have the relatives calling, carers, employers. It may be emotional support that they want today. Tomorrow you could want financial support. There's counselling they can access, complementary therapies, specific support groups. I'm very passionate about my job. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise.
So as mentioned, we've got a range of things where we try to support persons affected by cancer, but also, those around them. So information and support. People can have to make lots of choices sometimes with cancer treatment. They might be thinking about their caring responsibilities. They might be thinking about their work. They might be thinking about how to plan the next few months of their treatment and their recovery. And again, having that right information and support at the beginning and knowing where to go for more of it as things develop is really key so that people can make choices that work for them and for their families. So we're really passionate about making sure everyone knows that it's a free phone line. It's open every day of the year from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. And that free call number is always there. And if people have any concerns or any thoughts or just not sure how we can help, we just really encourage them always just to phone and ask. And from there can guide them to lots of other information support we have. We work around money and work as well. So we have teams that work with energy companies. They work to make sure people are on the right tariff for their energy bills, particularly as cancer counts as a disability under the law. So someone being diagnosed with cancer might change the circumstances for that family considerably, both financially, but also in terms of perhaps around what welfare benefits they might be able to access to support themselves. So we have a one-off hardship grant as well of £350 that we can give for people on low incomes. We also work with their banks to make sure that perhaps if they have a mortgage, that the bank are aware that they've suddenly become unwell and that they might need some support around payments. We work with people around their insurance companies, around savings, and our team can make phone calls for people. So if somebody's very unwell or if they're really struggling to get their head around all of the different change of circumstance, sometimes it's very difficult to phone an insurance company and find out if you've still got a policy that covers you for serious illness, or if your partner is very sadly diagnosed as end of life with cancer, is there going to be cover for that? And some of those phone calls, Macmillan can help do those for people, which allows them to get all the support that they're able to get, but without having to do all of it themselves. We also work a lot around care planning and navigation, which will fit in a lot with what we're talking about later about personalised care. And we have support worker roles in hospital and information managers that work alongside all the cancer nursing teams and the doctors, and really try and help make sure people understand, any choices they're given, that they've got lots of places to go to get support and information about what choice to make if they're given choices within their cancer treatment as well. And all the things around it, about how they feel about things, about that sort of psychological and emotional support. And also making sure that they're aware that they can always come back and ask anytime for anything else. End of life care, again, we have new projects and new posts going in around end of life care, and we're looking at lots of different models of how to provide that. We're really aware this is a massively complex issue because there's so many settings that somebody at end of life might be being supported by. And we're looking for making sure, again, that the individual person and their family gets to have as much say as they can about what matters to them, and gets the care they want in the way that works for them. I've got another little clip here just about highlighting again some of the financial support that we can offer for people and their families.
As soon as people get diagnosed with cancer, there's a whole range of questions really running through their mind, and finances is one of those. And it can be an absolute surprise. You think you planned for everything, and this gets sprung on you and suddenly you've got a whole host of extra costs that you weren't expecting.
I really started to worry after the first 3 months when my salary was reduced and I had to, exhaust my savings. That's when the impact of my financial constraints really affected me.
There's a number of hidden costs that people might encounter because of a cancer diagnosis, in particular the heating costs. People might be feeling colder because of the side effects of a particular treatment, or they might just be at home more, throughout their diagnosis or throughout their recovery than they would be normally when they would normally be going out to work.
Having treatment during the winter, I was at home. My heating bills were expensive. I had to get taxis to the hospital because I couldn't use public transport because my immune system was compromised.
We have a partnership with Empower at Macmillan that's there to support cancer patients who have accounts with Empower, and in certain circumstances it can reduce their bills.
Then my wife was visiting me in hospital, so that required her to stay in a hotel overnight, which meant we had to buy a car as well, which we hadn't had before. So for all these extra things that we hadn't anticipated, we were using our pot of money, which was gradually going down.
All of a sudden, people have got to go to hospitals they've never been to before, and these appointments can come thick and fast, really. Particularly if you're going through a course of treatment that happens every week, happens every day in some circumstances.
You're borrowing money, you're getting further into debt, you're using your credit card knowing full well that you can't afford the payments at the end of the month. But what do?
There's a whole range of financial support available via Macmillan. Starting with our Macmillan support line, people can call us and access information, get a full benefits check. There's assistance through grants through Macmillan, and also a financial guidance team for any queries that people may have about financial products in particular.
The Macmillan team advised us which benefits were best for us, which ones we could apply for, and what chance we stood of receiving some help.
I would recommend anyone with cancer, give Macmillan a ring. They will offer you advice. They will offer you the support.
And it makes the whole process a lot easier.
And I think, we're very conscious that, with the recent increases in, huge increases in energy bills and food prices for people, that kind of financial support and advice is even more essential than ever. Another summary here, I think I've mentioned some of these. So we have the website, which has lots of information and support on for people to understand what's happening with the cancer or what the treatments are that they're being offered. We have an online community that's open, 24/7, and that also has Ask the Expert options on it so that you can get advice there from cancer nurses and from others through the online community. And again, that's just on the website. People often find it useful to be there if they want to talk anonymously as well. It allows people to perhaps ask questions that they feel they don't want to ask in person, or to just sort of browse and see what other people are talking about who have the same type of cancer. There's also groups there for people who've been bereaved by cancer and for family members looking for support as carers. The support line, which is the phone line we just mentioned. There's also cancer information and support, advisors and nurse specialists. So the local hospital, I think, to this group would be Peterborough, and they have a great wellbeing centre there that can offer lots of direct support for people. And I'll make sure I put the link in the chat in just a moment for where to find out and how to get in touch with them about what they can offer at Peterborough Hospital directly. But we have information support workers there who can go over in person with people and make sure they're getting all the welfare benefits and other support they need. We do email campaigns out to people sometimes, and particularly have anyone who's signed up to be part of our campaigns might be writing to their MP to highlight things that are really important to people with cancer. We have volunteer services that now post-COVID are starting to get back. Partly they've been working through COVID with telephone buddies. So if somebody has been diagnosed with cancer, they can ask on the website or just phone our phone line, and they can be linked up with a buddy who will phone them for once a week for 12 weeks. And again, just offer a listening space outside the family and the friends where perhaps they can, talk about things in a different way or have a think about what they're feeling and thinking about at the moment. And that person will also help them to think about other local support they might be able to access at the end of that phone support. We tend to link people up based on something they've got in common, usually to do with a hobby or an interest. So I think we had 2 people recently who were very interested in musicals. There was somebody else who were really keen gardeners. So it may not be somebody who's had a specific type of cancer experience that you've had, but it's somebody, again, where there's a connection, there's something to talk about, and it matters to that individual person. We're starting to look at getting volunteers out into the community again, and in some areas they'll be able to do visits to people at home and help with, bits of shopping or gardening and chat and conversation and things. And that's just starting to build up again after COVID. We've also got wellbeing coaches for through the support line. Mentioned the grants, I've mentioned financial welfare. We've got work support. We have lots of information on the website about work in cancer. We can also help anybody who's an employer to think about how to make reasonable adjustments for somebody who's been diagnosed with cancer. So there's a lot of support there for companies and for employers as well as for employees. I think I mentioned most of these. Bupa counselling, yes, that's so we trialled that last year, and that's now been picked up as an ongoing service. So if somebody chats to our support line and it's appropriate for the levels of emotional support they're looking for, they can be referred through for free counselling through a Bupa counsellor as well. So again, the conversation on the support line is just an open door to lots of other options about what support might work for that person at that moment in time, what they need then. And we're really aware that cancer is something that's life-changing for people in a way that goes on for for the rest of their life, and that their family and friends around are affected. So it's not a case that people can't phone or get support if the cancer was some time ago as well. Sometimes it can be years later that people feel very anxious about things again, or that they have complications from the treatment or the cancer that they had. They're affecting them physically, and these are causing new issues for them, and they want to get that support. So the messaging is just very much call us with anything at all. We really want to listen to what's important to that person and what they need from us, and to provide that support for them. And if it's something that we don't have, we also really want to know that, so that we can look at how we provide that for that person. This is our new ad that just came out on Monday last week. And again, it's just kind of core into that message that I'm hoping that we're getting out to everybody about phoning us with anything.
What do other people ask?
All right, darling.
I don't know where to start, really.
Then we'll stick some more up.
Can I still date? What if I got pregnant?
Does the dog know?
Can I still go abroad?
What am I supposed to say?
Can I get an upgrade?
How am I going to afford the mortgage?
Should I freeze my eggs? Can I still sunbathe?
Just keep thinking over and over.
What will happen now?
How do I tell them?
Hello, Macmillan.
We know one of the reasons people don't phone us is sometimes they're not quite sure what will happen if they call, who's going to answer the phone, how they're going to answer. And again, this ad and what we're trying to get out is just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's on your mind or what you think you might want to ask about, just phone, and it can be worked out, with you as an individual about what's important to you on that day and at that moment. So we've given out over, these figures I think were from 2020 into 2021, but we've given out, in 1 year we gave out over, found over 278 million pounds in financial gains for people with cancer. That includes the small grants from us, but also helping make sure people were accessing benefits they were entitled to that they weren't claiming. We've had over 200,000 people call, email, go on the website. We did manage to reach about over 80% of MPs in government through the Forgotten Sea campaign that we ran through COVID, just to highlight the importance of people's cancer treatments continuing and the support that they needed. We put aside money for coronavirus response funds, so again supporting hospital trusts to make sure that they could both respond quickly to COVID but also continue to support and care for as many people with cancer in a timely fashion as possible. In 6 weeks we got the telephone buddy system up and running. And we've also, you know, we've done lots of fundraising and had lots of visitors to the website. But I think for me, it's just to sort of say, you know, we recognise we're a really big charity, and we've got a loud voice in one way, but we're very much aware that this is all about what matters to that individual person. We're not seeing everybody with cancer as, you know, having the same needs. We're very aware this is very individual. And I think if I can, you know, if there's any ways of working with any parts of the community, recognising this forum is particularly, you know, aimed at people who perhaps might have barriers to accessing care and support in some ways because of other responsibilities as carers and different roles. You know, we're really looking to learn, you know, what support do we have that's being useful, and what else can we do? And I think, you know, the Wellbeing Centre at Peterborough Hospital, again, if people can get there directly, that's great. But we just really want people to know about, you know, all the things we can offer through the phone line, and that from there it can just be a gateway to sort of signposting people or supporting them directly as well. So if you're only able to contact through phone or through going on the website, it doesn't mean that you can't get a financial grant. It doesn't mean you can't get welfare benefits checked. And we've got practical things that can be sent out as well, and information resources. So it's possible to order, you know, booklets. So if anybody's working with groups or organisations, you know, I can send out sort of, you know, hard copies of booklets and things that are free. And we have things like toilet cards, which are, again, useful for people perhaps where they might need to access a toilet urgently because of their cancer or their cancer treatment. And with some people, we find they just talk about having a bit more confidence to ask in a shop or to ask at a business if they could use their toilet when they're out, which means they go out a bit more often, which means they're a bit less isolated. And so it can be a small thing like that that can really change how somebody, you know, feels they can live day to day, managing the side effects. And so we are open to any ideas, and I'll stop here and ask, you know, if there's any particular questions, because I'm aware it's a wall of YouTube clips and things, but I didn't want it just to be my voice, because it's really important to just try and say, you know, we're just really aware this is, yeah, it's a massive thing to be diagnosed with, but there is a lot of support, and it's a bit like a giant buffet. You know, we're trying to roll out the whole table of stuff and just say, this is all the things that we think are useful and that we've been asked for and that we can provide. And we want you just to take whatever's useful to you when it's useful to you. But most of all, for me, I just want people to know that it's there, so that they don't have any, you know, regrets later that they didn't know there was support they could have accessed, and things could have been perhaps a little bit easier than they were for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for amazing presentation and very informative. Is there any questions to Sarah? Silence at the moment. Yeah, I think yeah, it was a lot of very useful information to everyone. Yeah, and again, I would like to say thank you very much to Sarah, especially for your own work you're doing for communities, engaging different background communities to this project. Thank you. So
I think Natalie had a question. Sorry, I think.
If she can't see the raised hand. All right. Yeah, please, Natalie.
I was just wondering, do you offer any advice to those that have got a precancerous diagnosis?
Yeah, we would have some things on the website. We tend to focus obviously on support for people who've been diagnosed with cancer, you know, kind of again focused on adults, because there are other charities that specialise with teenage and young children. But we do definitely have some things on there. So I'll put my email in the chat. If you want to let me know, you know, which cancer perhaps, you know, I could send you over, you know, the information we've got, if that would be useful.
Yeah, I've been looking online, and there's a lot of different medical advice for people that have got a precancerous diagnosis.
Yeah.
But not so much for individuals that have got multiple serious health conditions. On top of that, because obviously there's higher risk factors involved in, and then obviously because I'm more at risk than the average person to definitely develop it and things like that. So
yes, yeah, no, it's absolutely. So we have some information on our website around, obviously I know there are certain genetic conditions as well that predispose people to having a higher risk of some cancer. So we have things about Lynch syndrome and other, you know, kind of conditions that affect people. and like you said, where their options, their treatments, and what they need, might be very different.
Cell mutation, but it's not actually expanded yet. It's not multiplied yet. So they've just given me extra screenings, and they've just some vague ideas of what treatment I may be able to have, but they've said there's no cure. They won't be able to cure me. I'm probably definitely going to get a very aggressive cancer. So
yeah, which is incredibly, it's incredibly hard to
miss and see what other people are going through, and if they had any information and advice here.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely encourage you to phone, the support line if you feel able to, or to look on our website and the online community and things. But what I do is, if I put my email in the chat, perhaps you could just quickly drop me an email, and then you could just give me a little bit more detail if you feel comfortable with that.
In the community, so.
Yeah, so if I put my email, if you give me a little bit more detail about which particular cancers, which particular things, then I'll have a good trawl through and see what we've got, and send you anything we've got that might be specific.
Speaking, it's female, because I've already got breast disease, which has upped my risk of getting breast cancer, and now obviously my pap smear came back, as there's some cell activity to be concerned about, and because I've got a very bad immune system, they don't think that I'm going to be able to fight off the precancerous diagnosis. They're pretty sure that the cell's going to mutate, so, and like multiply more than what, like, because they haven't multiplied yet, but they said they have started to show mutation. So
yeah, that's incredibly hard. Yeah, like I said, you're just sort of in there waiting, and I know one of the things people often talk about is the huge stress of waiting for scans and diagnosis and things when they think they've got suspected cancer,
treatment. In the meantime, they're just waiting for me to get it. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to get it,
Yeah. Well, I'll put my email in. Right, it's in the chat. So if you're able to just drop me a line and let me know,
to learn what others might be going through as well, whether they got a pre-cancer diagnosis before they found out they actually had a cancer. So
I'll definitely have a look and see if there's any chats on our online community as well where people might be talking about that. But otherwise, again, do just phone. This is all very relevant to your, to your situation.
I was more as well, because my son's just lost his grandmother to brain cancer, and she initially had lung cancer, but unfortunately they missed some cells that had escaped and spread around her body.
Yeah.
And before that, he lost his aunt to breast cancer when she was 33. It was the second time it come back and killed her. So
yeah, I'm really sorry to hear it's affected your family so much.
Because he's disabled as well, and he's got total colonic Hirschsprung's disease. So he's obviously got his own life-threatening condition that he has to battle with every day. So
we have some resources that don't sound like they'll be useful at this point for for your son, but we do have some that are around kind of talking to children and young people when someone has cancer. And also Preparing Children for Loss is a book that was done with Winston's Wish as well, which
people are carers as well. Like my son, because I'm severely physically disabled now, my sons are classed as young carers and young adult carers. Yeah. My daughter is a young carer, but I'm actually their carers as well. So we're all sort of taking care of each other. But it does complicate things financially, like you said, because unfortunately the government does seem to work against people that are severely disabled or have a cancer diagnosis or both, when it comes to financial assistance and resources to
it's really complicated, isn't it, to get all that, and especially like I said, when you're kind of on the cusp of some you're expecting a diagnosis that's not.
I'm very lucky because I've got other conditions. I've been lucky my local authority are going to be sending carers out to help me already. And like they're going to be doing it for long term, but obviously there's not, some people aren't so lucky because they might be in work and might have some savings or a pension and things. So
yeah, well, I've put my email. I will have a look. So if you email me, then I've got your email and I can reply to you and send you some links if we've got things.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah,
I've been taking notes.
But do also phone the support line anytime as well, because it sounds like a really complicated situation, and
it's interesting.
They have other ideas as well.
Because unfortunately Peterborough aren't fantastic at advertising a lot of their health and social care type information. You tend to find it dotted about here and there, but you don't tend to have a full idea of what is available for individuals'
And
needs.
I really appreciate that lots of things may not be accessible for people as well, especially when you're a carer, because you can't access something because you need somebody to be, caring for somebody while you access that other thing as well. We may need. I've put the link in for the chat as well for the Peterborough, the wellbeing service at Peterborough as well, to see if there's things that might be, that you might be able to access as well locally. But yeah, I'll have a good look and I'll email back anything I can think of that might be of use. And do feel free to call us.
It's interesting to know, like I said, because unless you're actually going through something similar yourself, you can never really understand what other people are going through. So
thank you, Natalie, for your question, and thank you, Sarah, for answer and for the links and for the contacts you're sharing. Thank you very much. If there are any other questions for Sarah, Munish, maybe you would like to say something.
Hi, so I'm an Ashe, and like Sarah said, I'm the new engagement lead for Beds, Herts and Cambridgeshire. So yeah, at the moment I'm just observing so I can learn from Sarah. But if you need anything, you can email Sarah and me as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's very nice to see you here and have you on board also. And I do hope about the future cooperation with you and with Sarah. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we should have another one presentation today. Personalized care and health inequalities from Jackie Brisbane and Nicola Harris. Personalized care and health inequalities, Cambridgeshire and Peterborough CCG. So Jackie Brisbane, she's a projects and services improvement manager, and her colleague Nicola Harris. But I can't see them now. They should start on 12 as we agreed. So if we have them here. Not yet. So then I would like probably to skip then to our third speaker, Eleanor Gibson. She's from Peterborough Inclusive Hall, Sound About Projects, Opportunities for Families. So Eleanor, I would like to ask you then just to introduce us with that project, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, sorry. And I'll apologise in advance because my internet says it's a little bit unstable, so I apologise if I freeze or you lose the sound. Yes, I am based just outside Peterborough. I work for an organisation called Soundabout, which specialises in providing music sessions for children and adults actually with learning disabilities. From people with moderate learning disabilities right through to people with very complex needs. And a couple of years ago, we started this inclusive choir in Peterborough, but it's not really a choir as most people think of choirs, because many of the children and young people involved don't sing as one thinks of singing. I've got a little trailer which I'll try and share with you in a minute. So there are all sorts of ways of engaging with the choir and participating in what we do. We sing different songs, some pop songs, some songs that are specially composed for the choir, and it's part of a network of choirs which is now spreading from the West Country, from Bristol and Oxford up to Birmingham and over to Lincolnshire. I think there are now a whole network of Soundabout choirs. But we use, as well as singing, we use signing, Makaton signing. We invite people to play instruments, sound makers, to move or to dance to the music. There are lots of different ways of participating. And the choir was started, though the Peterborough choir was started during COVID. So still at the moment, most of our meetings are on Zoom, but we're now upping the face-to-face element. So I think it's twice a term face-to-face, based at Bushfield Ormiston Academy. But apart from that, alternate Saturday mornings on Zoom. So that is actually, we found that's easier to access for some people because most of the children and young people who take part need an adult or carer with them to support them. Not everybody does. Some take part independently. And obviously it cuts down on transport, on the kind of chunk of time that might take out of a family's day. Anyway, let me see if I can share this trailer. Hang on. It's here somewhere. Perhaps. Okay, sorry about this. Let me try again. This should work. Okay. And I hope you could see from that there's a range of people involved, and we also welcome volunteers to support the choir, and having volunteers and carers all involved means that we can support people in a very individual way musically. If someone needs that, if someone uses their voice or doesn't use their voice, we can support those different things. If they want to move, we can support that. So it's a very flexible concept as a choir, and we found that in Peterborough the take-up hasn't been as good as we'd hoped. So, you know, we're really encouraging people, families in Peterborough to come and join us. I think that's enough probably to say. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much, Eleanor. It was amazing to see that choir. I was thinking how it could look like, but it's so amazing, you know. Yeah, thank you. So, as I understood, this is not limited age, yeah, for people to join that.
No, it's not. It's funded jointly by Peterborough Music Hub and by Soundabout. Peterborough Music Hub funding does actually only go up to 18, but the Soundabout funding is all age. So yeah, and there's no limit on geography. Actually, two of our really loyal members live in Oxford, and I know Matt is 33. I'm not sure how old Sam is, but I think he's in his 30s or 40s. Yeah. So we're open to all ages and all abilities. And I mean, there are also levels of what's it called, scaffolding progression through the choir. Those two long-standing members are also taking part in a project called Emerging Leaders. So they're learning to lead little bits of the choir themselves, to lead little bits of signing or little bits of singing. So there's a framework for progression through the choirs.
And can I ask how often these you have these rehearsals?
Saturday morning, 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'll put that information in the chat as well. And as I say, mostly on Zoom, but then twice a term face-to-face at Bushfield Ormiston Academy. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And do you have the feedbacks from the parents and from the participants? Yeah, could you speak about it a bit? Yeah, how they feel. Could you speak about that one?
Yeah. I mean, the people who've taken part are very enthusiastic and have said things like, for one boy who's I think 13, Daniel 13, that all his siblings have social music activities outside of school, but for him there wasn't anything that was appropriate. So it's great that he can have this, and his family do the park run beforehand, so he does the park run and then he comes to choir, so it's great. There's also a kind of a little community developing through the choir that come friends already, but they're now making a kind of self and able to support each other. And basically, yes, I mean, most of the children, because I used to work in a special school in Peterborough, most of the children in school really struggled for out of school opportunities, the kind of things are quite natural and drama or music or sports activities after school, much more problematic for families who have children with special needs. So yes, they're very, very grateful and very very enthusiastic about it all.
Thank you very much. So is there any other questions to Elona?
Okay, I'll pop those details in the chat for anybody that wants to get in touch with my email address. Thank you. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was really great to know and to see. Thank you very much for your presentation and for the information you shared with us. And hopefully our parent carers will do that contact. You will share and they will enjoy taking part. Thank you very much. So in a couple of minutes we will have our last speakers, Jackie Brisbane and Nicola Harris, and they will cover the topic personalized care and health inequalities. Morning, Jackie. I see you just joined us. I would like to introduce you with our third speaker, Jackie Brisbane, Projects Services Improvement Manager. Personalised Care and Health Inequalities, Cambridgeshire and Peterborough CCG. So Jackie will be talking on the topic personalised care and health inequalities. Jackie, the floor is over to you, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could I just could I dial off and dial back in again? I've got terrible sound problems.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Thank you. Sorry about this. I'll be back as soon as possible.
Okay. I hope Jackie will be with us in a minute. If anyone has some questions to our previous speakers, to Eleanor, to Sarah, you can ask now. We can use that time for the questions, for the answers. Jackie.
Hello, and I just.
That's a bit better now.
Is that better? That's better.
Yeah, great.
Yes, I had terrible sound problems. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
I just asked Nicola to join, and she's just about to dial in now. So once she's dialed in, then we'll do our joint presentation. But shall I just introduce myself first? My name is Jackie Brisbane, and I'm the project manager for the personalised care project, which covers the whole of Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, not only the health but also social care as well, and voluntary services. So once Nicola's joined us, then I'll be able to hopefully I'll be able to share my screen. I'm not confident with Zoom, I'm afraid, because we normally use Teams. So
no worries, everything will be all right. No worries.
I'm just trying to find where everything is on the screen.
Yeah, Nicola just joined. We have Nicola. Hello, Nicola. Can you hear us? Hi, Nicola. Can you hear us?
Good afternoon. No, it's still morning still. Good morning. I can hear you. It's very strange noise in the background.
So I would like to ask everybody who are not speaking just to mute your microphone.
Oh, that's it. It's gone now. Let me put my video on.
Yeah, we can see the presentation now.
No, my video's gone again. Sorry, we don't normally use Zoom, we use Teams. So let me just make sure. Okay. At the bottom. Have we got everybody at the meeting? I can't see anybody on my screen. I'm not sure. Jackie can. Oh, there we go. I've got a bigger screen now.
We see you.
You can see me. Okay,
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Are you ready for us to make a start?
Can I just? Sorry, I'm just messing about with my. No, I can't. Just trying to share. As Nicola said, we're not normally using Zoom, and so
there's a share screen green button at the bottom, Jackie, that I can see on my computer.
Yeah, just a minute.
I'll introduce myself while Jackie's having a look at the
Yes,
technology around this. So good afternoon, everybody. My name's Nicola Harris. I'm from the primary care team. I work in the CCG, which is the Clinical Commissioning Group for Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. And my colleague Jackie and I have come along today to talk to you about personalised care across the system. So once Jackie's got sorted out with the technology for our slides, we'll be clicking into our presentation. Who have we got from Family Voice Partnership?
So it's me. I'm Judita Grubliani. I'm a parent carer at Family Voice Peterborough, and I'm sharing this meeting today. Also, we have a few others here. So from our admin.
I can't get back into.
Then it's sharing.
I can't get back in. I'm really sorry. I don't know if I should come out again. I can't get back in at all. I could just see. Oh, wait a minute. There you are. Got the full screen now. Sorry, not confident with this.
Okay, Jackie.
Right.
Oh, there we go. I can see
I
the
hope you
presentation.
can see that.
There we go. Jackie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I did introduce myself before you started. Yes.
Lovely, brilliant. Okay, that's really tiny on my screen. I'm just going to open up another screen next to me so I can.
I don't know how to.
Don't worry, Jackie. I don't move anything. Can Family Voice colleagues see our presentation?
Yes.
You can. Can you put it into presentation mode, Jackie?
In
what mode, sorry?
I've got a sort of something at the top, and I can't see.
Slideshow. Can you click? See?
Wait a minute. Slideshow.
Yeah. From the beginning. There we go. That's it. Okay. Let's make a start then. Sorry for the delay there, colleagues on the call. So we've introduced ourselves, and as I said, we're here today to talk to you about personalised care. Jackie, there's a little box that's clicked on that you're just going to need to click off for me. So first of all, what is personalised care? It's all about starting a conversation from a different place. It's what matters to you, not what's the matter with you. Thank you. These are examples about how we change the conversation. It shifts from not having all the information and support you need to make informed choices and decisions to having all that information that you need. Instead of that one-size-fits-all approach, having more choice and control over your health and well-being needs. Instead of having to tell your story again and again, you only need to tell your story once. Next slide, Jackie, and over to you.
Oh, thank you. So I don't know if you know about the NHS long-term plan. It's the major strategic document which supports all NHS provision and strategy. So the long-term plan, as it says here, sets out the plans for the NHS for the next 5 years. And personalised care is one of the key elements in the long-term plan, and this means people have choice and control over the way that their care is delivered. And as Nicola said, it's based on what matters to the individual and their strengths and needs. So this means that the following need to happen for people to be supported, and it's about enabling choice and support planning and decision making, which means having conversations with people about their life and how their care is planned around them. It's also about people being in control of their care through personal health budgets and connecting people with communities through social prescribing. It's also about self-support management, helping people to better manage their health and well-being through self-management, education, health coaching and peer support. This slide shows the actual operating model and how all the various components work together to deliver a joined up approach around the needs of everyone. And the model aims to deliver on 3 levels. There's our whole population approach to support people of all ages and their carers to manage their physical and mental health and well-being, to build community resilience and make informed choices and decisions when their health changes. There's also a proactive and universal offer of support for people with long-term physical and mental health conditions so that they can build their knowledge, skills and confidence to live well with their health conditions. There's also an intensive and integrated approach to empower people with more complex needs to have greater choice and control over the care that they receive. We will share these slides with you, and if you'd like to know more about how social prescribing, personalised care can help individuals, I've included 3 links at the bottom of this slide, which will provide you with more information. It will take you to YouTube videos. I'll skip through that one. Nicola, over to you.
Thanks, Jackie. Through the GP contract, there's some funding available through the Additional Role Reimbursement Scheme, which is a scheme that has different roles that GP practices can select to help support personalised care delivery in their practice. And these are the 3 specific roles. I'm just going to explain a little bit more about those. So social prescribers, what these do is they offer extended time to really understand what matters to people. They look at the wider determinants of health affecting people's well-being, and they help them make changes and take small steps to get there. A social prescriber will identify services and local support groups that can help. They can make referrals or even take them there. They empower people to manage their own well-being. Health and well-being coaches. These support and empower people to work in partnership and create goals, to really understand what's important to them and their overall health and well-being. They use assessments of current fitness levels and lifestyles, and they help people engage and take control of their own health. Care coordinators. These work with patients with complex needs that require that multidiscipline team approach. They support setting up multidiscipline team meetings and liaising with partners on behalf of the GP practice. Next slide, please. Personalised care is an approach which is for all ages. Next slide, please, and back to you, Jackie.
Thank you. So, as it says here, we've been Cambridge and Peterborough Clinical Commissioning Group were fortunate to be able to receive some funding to support 2 projects in 2021, the Community Catalyst Check and Chat and the Rough Sleepers project. And in 2021-22, we also requested additional funding to support a mental health project, which focuses on personalised care support plans, and people referred onto the serious mental illness pathway. a maternity project which has just been completed, which focused on support plans for vulnerable women in ethnic minority communities in deprived areas. And lastly, a workforce project, which is an expansion of a one-year project delivered by Care Network to support personalised care staff within induction and the training hub, as well as the Personalised Care Institute. And I think that's it from me. Back to you, Nicola.
Thanks, Jackie. NHS England have developed something called a Personalised Care Assessment Framework. It contains 7 elements: co-production, changed, personalised care support plans, shared decision making, workforce, social prescribing and supported self-management. And we use this framework to really understand where different teams are on their journey to maturity. So we're looking at Cambridgeshire and Peterborough as a whole and helping those different teams across all different specialist areas understand where they are on that journey. We need to report back to NHS England on this. So it's a really helpful tool. It can really sort of design services and help us understand what those next steps are for us to take. Next slide, please. There's lots of training available for personalised care through the Personalised Care Institute for Training. Lots of free courses, and these are available to everybody. Core skills, shared decision making, personalised care support planning. We were awarded some additional funding over 21-22 for some health coach training, and we were able to support our social prescribers and health coaches to be able to access this. And just want to mention a social prescribing digital platform as well. We were successful with accessing some funding through a bid to NHS England. And this platform is a referral system and a directory of services. We're just in the mobilisation stage at this point. We're collecting all the data and setting up all our social prescribers, health and wellbeing coaches and care coordinators to be able to access the platform. It's a self-referral platform and a referral platform, and it will be directly into our social prescribers and personalised care roles. As I said, it will contain a directory of services, and these will be onto all the support groups available in the local area. It's a very clever function. It does all sorts of data analytics for us as well. I've just popped a few slides into this pack that we're going to share with you about the platform. And just skipping forward there, Jackie. And again. And the next one. Thank you. So Jackie and I work with a team on delivering the personalised care agenda. So within the CCG, we've got a senior responsible officer, which is Jessica Boredom, and we work with a clinical champion, who's Dr. Mark Brooks. And we also work really closely with NHS England and the Training Hub. I think that's it for today. That's the end of our presentation. Has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask us?
Thank you, Nicola, and thank you, Paris, for the presentation. Have we any questions to Nicola and to Jackie?
Is it possible to get those slides sent to me? Because I missed a few of them because my phone kept going off.
Yeah, of course it is. We're going to send those out.
Right, I need a new phone.
No problem.
Thank you. It's been very good, so thanks.
So if I send them to you, Jadita?
Yes, please. Yeah, it can be sent to me and I can share them. Yeah, would be great. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
I was just wondering,
hello, no, please.
Is there a mechanism for being in the directory of support groups and so on? How does one?
Yeah, so we're starting with Hey, how are you directory?
Yeah.
That's the one we're onboarding first.
Okay.
Are you already part of that directory?
Yes.
Perfect. You'll already be in there then.
Okay.
And then the next big directory we're going to look at onboarding is the one with the local authority. So they've got a huge directory of services as well. So that will be our next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the answers. Any other questions, please? All right. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Nicola. Thanks very much for joining our meeting and sharing with us the information. Also, I would like to say thank you to our other speakers, so Eleanor and Sarah. Sarah already left, but anyway. So huge thank you to our amazing speakers. Also thank you to our parent carers and to the Family Voice Peterborough team. And just a kind reminder, please complete the feedback form to us because it's very important to us getting funding and helping to families with kids with CND. So our next Seldom Heard community Zoom session will be on May 19th, a bit different time, 10:30, 12. And the topic is SENI services, how they are working as a service, how they can help getting the right support and how to access that support. So I do hope to see you on the next meeting on May. Once again, thank you to all of you for today's. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.